everyone, my name is Kieran and welcome to a massive preview on the channel. It is the Arsenal versus Manchester United preview, and it's a big one because we're both going for that top 4 spot, and also because of results in the Premier League today. And by that, I think you guys know exactly what I'm referring to. Before we get into it, make sure you leave a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. And also, I just want to say thank you so much for 570 subscribers, only 30 subscribers away from 600 subscribers. So I just want to thank you guys for all the support you've been showing me. I really do appreciate it. And if you guys haven't already and are watching this, make sure you subscribe to the channel for content like this. Just want to welcome everyone who has joined us. Welcome to Crazy to Gaming, RB Comps, the football podcast show. Man United Nathan, Dazza, Lennox and Ryan, thanks for watching guys, really appreciate it. And as I said before, please do leave a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. But I know all of you guys are subscribed and I do really appreciate your support. But without further ado, let's get straight into the preview. And of course, the first place we're going to start with is Arsenal. Now, ultimately, I always start with the opposition in these previews, so we will get on to the main event and talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United in just a second. But I'm going to talk about Arsenal now. Obviously, Arsenal come into this game in horrific form, really, coming off the back of a shocking performance away in France. A 3-1 defeat against Rennes, and Arsenal have never lost to French opposition away from home, and they've done it against Rennes, who, let's face it, are no PSG, let's be honest with you. 3-1 loss to Rennes, and it was a very entertaining watch, but also for an Arsenal fan's point of view, it was a shocking performance, really was a shocking performance from Arsenal, and hopefully they bring that sort of game into the game at the Emirates. But you know what, I think they will want to bounce back, there's no doubt about that. And actually I think attacking wise, Arsenal are not that bad. For me, the only thing they need to worry about is defensively, because they are so prone to mistakes. And especially one man in particular, Shkodran Mustafi, who has made quite a few mistakes in the past against Manchester United. And I'm hoping to see Mustafi on the team sheet against us tomorrow. And if we do see Mustafi again on the team sheet, I will be very positive. But I think Arsenal will still carry a big threat towards us. Let's not forget, you know, they're in 5th place for a reason. They're in the top 4 race for a reason. You know, they have got some favourable, you know, Premier League results, and I think really this game for them is their last big game of the season. After this game, they've got like 8 games which are really favourable. So if they were to beat us and, you know, go ahead of us in the table, for me, it would be very difficult for us to catch them. With Ole out the wheel, I have full faith that we could do it. But if they were to beat us tomorrow, it would be a massive blow for us. So hopefully we can, you know, make sure they don't do that. But yeah, they'll be really hungry to bounce back, especially as well after what happened in the FA Cup where we beat them 3-1. The same, incidentally, as we did, you know, last time we played them, last season in the Premier League. But it's going to be a very close game. I don't think we're going to dominate, and I don't think it's going to be a really easy victory for us. I think it's going to be a very close game indeed. So we'll see what happens. Dazza says, catching up to my channel very quickly. Oh, well, I mean, Dazza, mate, I'm really glad to see both of our channels, you know, growing at the rate they are. So, yeah. And if you guys haven't already, make sure you check out Dazza's channel in the description down below, Dazza's Football Stand. Lennox says, Spurs equal Bottle FC. Exactly, yeah. I mean, I don't know what's going on at Spurs. I mean, they had a 13-point lead over us, and now, with a win tomorrow, we could go level on points with Spurs. What is that about? I don't know what's going on at that club. And to be honest with you, I don't see Mauricio Pochettino staying at Spurs that much longer. Ryan says Spurs are the biggest bottlers I've ever seen. Welcome Juan Mata, thanks for joining. He says, I've got a bad feeling about tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, look, I think definitely tomorrow's game is going to be a lot more difficult than the one, you know, in December or January where we beat Arsenal in the FA Cup. You know, I think Arsenal are going to bring their A game. They're going to be so hungry and motivated to beat us because they know if they lose this game, they could potentially be out of the top 4 race. So they need to win this game, really. RB says Man United turned it around. Yeah, I know. We have turned it around very, very well. Of course, against PSG. What a night that was. If you guys haven't already, make sure you check out my match review of the PSG game, which is up on the channel. And safe to say, I was a bit gassed, a tad gassed after the game, as probably a lot of the Man United fans were. Brother Gaming says, United fans are too confident, IMO. Well, welcome, Brother Gaming. Thanks for joining. And I think potentially you could be right. I think Arsenal are definitely going to be a different proposition, as I said, to what they were when we played them in the FA Cup. But I still think, you know, there's a good reason why United fans are really confident. You know, coming off the back of that sort of thing is mental. So, you know, we're in such high spirits. Solskjaer is working miracles at the club. So why wouldn't you be confident for the game? It's natural. Ryan said, can't wait for the Champions League draw next Friday. Yeah, I know, mate. And I tell you what, I don't mind who we get. We'll take on anyone. We'll take on anyone, guys. He also says, Juve have a chance of turning their game around as well. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Obviously, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, they have to go back to Juventus. And Juventus also need to win by 3 goals as well to go through. So, yeah, going to be an interesting one, that one. Welcome to TTX Productions. Thanks for joining, my friend. Really appreciate it. He says, evening, lads. Arsenal should be a walk in the park. But they have a good home record in the EPL this season, so it'll be hard. I think you're right. I think, you know, they have a very, very good record in the Premier League this season. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park. I think they're definitely going to be much more motivated, and they're going to be, you know, putting everything, blood, sweat and tears into every tackle, you know, every challenge, every kind of attack they do. So it's going to be so difficult for us tomorrow. But if we do come through that, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, needs to be given the job on the spot, because this is kind of one of our last big tests that he has to go through this season. Of course, you've got the Champions League and things like that, but if we can win this game, it's a pivotal match to win in the top 4 race, and it'll put us joint third with Spurs, which is why I think this is such a big opportunity for us. Lennox says, sad that Lingard can't play his dance floor tomorrow. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I know it's so annoying to see, you know, Lingard can't play. I think he would have really suited the game, as he always seemed to do at the Emirates. But hopefully someone like Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford has been planning some dance moves, hopefully. RB says, fuck it, play our amazing talent, Moise Keane. I think I know him from FIFA. He's pacey, confident, great finisher, offers something completely different. Yeah, well, I mean, look, good. The very best of luck to you against Atletico Madrid. As a neutral, I'm going to be very intrigued to watch that one. I think it's going to be a very, very good one. Welcome to Rasmus. Welcome, Rasmus. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. And as I said, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you leave a like and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also just leave your views and thoughts going into this massive game. For me, it's a massive opportunity. With a win, remember, we can go joint third. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over, we were 11 points off 4th place, 13 points off 3rd place. With a win tomorrow, we can go joint third. How mental is that? Absolutely mental. Rasmus says, I can't wait to batter those Gunners. Yeah, hopefully, Rasmus. Hopefully, you're absolutely right, mate. Absolutely right. But as I said, I think it's going to be a much more of a difficult game than it was when we played them in the FA Cup. I think it's going to be a much more, you know, intense game. I think Arsenal are going to be really hungry to try and turn us over, especially because both of us are playing for that coveted 4th place spot. And, you know, as I said, Arsenal is going to be very, they're going to be so motivated. And I think it'd be a massive kick in the teeth if they were to lose to us twice at their home ground. So hopefully it happens, but I think it's going to be a difficult one. RB says, give all the credit to United, but let's be fair, PSG have been and always been ballers. Yeah, you know what, mate? I tell you what, I agree with you, but I don't care at this point. You know, we're through. I couldn't believe what I was watching, and it was such a good performance from us as well. You know, we dug in with all the injuries that we had, and we got in and did the job, and that's all that matters. Lennox makes a good point. He says Matic is back, and I'm so glad that Nemanja Matic is back in the team, even though McTominay, Fred and Pereira have done a really good job since he's been out. I think we did miss Matic a bit, and he's very good at breaking up the play and doing the kind of dirty work in that midfield, but it's so underrated. But, you know, it really is, it really is important for our team. So I think it'll be brilliant to see Matic back. Also a bit of added height into the team as well. So yeah, I think Matic and Pogba as well also coming back after his suspension. He wasn't able to play in the PSG game, so we'll have Pogba and Matic back in that midfield three. And I wonder who's going to get in there, whether it'll be McTominay, Fred or Pereira that will start next to them. Who knows? But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm happy the midfield is coming back together. Rasmus says Spurs bottling it hard in a few weeks from title race to top 4 race. They can't seem to surprise us by not bottling it for once. Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying, you know, towards the start of the stream. I don't know what's going on at Spurs at the moment. I don't know. There must be some sort of jinx at that club, because even when it looks like they're in a title race and they're really doing well, they always find a way to bottle it. Always find a way, without fail. And I don't understand it whatsoever. I tell you what, if I was a Spurs fan, I would be so angry. But you know what? I'm not a Spurs fan, and I thank my lucky stars every day that I'm a United fan. I'll be confident. The only reason I wanted PSG to win that game was because of Buffon. That's fair enough. Obviously, it might be one of the last times we ever see Buffon in the Champions League, which it is a bit sad. But you know what? He has won the Champions League before, I believe. Well, I think he might have done. I'm not sure if he has. But, you know, he is definitely a legend of the game, and will be remembered as that. TTX said it's time for Rashford to break some ankles. Yeah, I would love that, man. I'll tell you what, Rashford is going to cause a lot of problems for Arsenal. You know, his pace in behind, along with Martial, and also Lukaku. I think that, you know, the form that Lukaku's showing at the moment is really encouraging, and I'm hoping to see Rashford and Lukaku starting as a front pairing tomorrow, because I think actually as a front pairing they have been so clinical. So hopefully we see Rashford and Lukaku starting together. But I would also not be surprised if we saw Martial starting up front as well. But it's just good to see all of those options coming back into play. But yeah, you know what? Sorry, just getting something up. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the game. Really excited. And if you guys are excited as well, make sure you leave a like if you haven't already as well. Oh, he's never won it. Oh, well that would be a shame if Buffon was to bow out of the European competition, never having won the Champions League. I think that would be a huge shame for him. So yeah. RB says we need a perfect game to turn it around against Atletico. Well, yeah, believe me, yeah, definitely, as you say. Believe, because if Man United can do it, then I'm sure Juventus can do it. You've got Cristiano Ronaldo on your side. TTX says Ollie has a selection headache. I think he does. I think Solskjaer really has a selection headache. And you know what? It's a good selection headache, because, you know, with Lukaku and Rashford playing out of their skin, you've got Anthony Martial coming back as well. And then also in the midfield, obviously with Matic coming back, Pogba coming back into that midfield as well. Lots of different things he's going to have to select. I think the defence is going to stay the same from PSG, but the midfield and the forwards, it's going to be very interesting. Excuse me, very interesting to see how he juggles that. Lennox says Lukaku sent Kolasinac out back to Bosnia last time. Yeah, I remember that. It was brilliant. And you know what? I think Lukaku against Arsenal actually played a lot better as a winger than what he did playing through the middle. So, you know, I think he's doing really well at the moment as a front pairing with Marcus Rashford. But I would be very intrigued to see how Ollie sets up the team. And I will be getting on to my predicted lineup in a second as well. RB Com says my prediction for tomorrow is 1-1. I think a lot of United fans probably would take a point as well. I think if you offered it right now, a lot of United fans would probably take a point. Especially because they know that Arsenal is going to be such a tough test. And a point against Arsenal, you know, we would gain points on Spurs. We would keep 4th place for now, at least. So I think a lot of United fans would take a point right now. But let me know, if you're watching right now, would you take a point tomorrow? Or do you think it's a must-win? Or do you think it's a dare-not-lose? Let me know. For me, I think it's a dare-not-lose for Manchester United. Obviously, I want to win the game. But I think, ultimately, if we were to draw the game or come from behind and draw, I wouldn't be too annoyed. Rasmus says Pochettino must be crying his eyes out because the Spurs owner can't seem to spend enough, and he was the main candidate for United job not long ago, but Ollie blew him out of that. Exactly. And I think he's not having a good time at Pochettino, I've got to say. Not having a good time at the moment. But you know what? There's always Real Madrid, and I think obviously Jose Mourinho looks like he's potentially going to Real Madrid. But you never know with that. We'll keep tabs on that, because I think that's going to be a very, very interesting story indeed to see where Jose Mourinho ends up. But I think potentially Real Madrid, Pochettino's still an option there. So who knows? We might see Pochettino in La Liga shortly. Lennox says Bailly has been inconsistent. Lindelof and Smalling is our best partnership. I think definitely at the moment Lindelof and Smalling is our best partnership. I think, you know, they've been really, really consistent, as you said. They've been brilliant. And I think, you know, Lindelof in particular has been fantastic. But also credit to Chris Smalling, you know, being out injured for a few months and then coming back and being so solid alongside Lindelof is really, really testament to him. So, you know, brilliant stuff. RB comes to Tony Adams. Who would want to go to Juve anyway? Arsenal, bigger club than Juventus. What a fucking clown Tony Adams is. Yeah, I didn't understand that, to be honest with you. I mean, in terms of trophies and things like that, I think Juventus are much the bigger club. But there you go. TTX says it's a must-win. We'll be level on points with Spurs and 4 points ahead of Arsenal. I mean, definitely, if we do win the game, it would be a massive, massive step for us. There's no doubt about that. But even if we drew the game, it wouldn't be catastrophic. I think if we lost the game, I think that would definitely be a massive blow for us. But if we drew the game, I think it'd be a bit naff, to be honest with you. But you know what? It wouldn't be catastrophic. Lennox says a win will give us a 4-point cushion between us and Arsenal, which is significant. At this stage in the season, I totally agree. It would be a massive, massive gap, and I think Arsenal would really struggle to close that gap. But as I said, if we get a point, I wouldn't be too dissatisfied. Rasmus says, Bailly's too rash and injury prone. I think he'll leave in the summer. It's all gone wrong after his promising start under Jose. Yeah, unfortunately, he's not really getting into the side, Eric Bailly, which, you know, I do find a bit, you know, kind of unfortunate for him. I think ultimately Bailly actually, you know, has done really, really well under Jose Mourinho, and you know, and I think actually he was one of our best signings under Jose Mourinho. But unfortunately, he's just kind of fallen out of favour with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and you know, obviously Smalling and Lindelof are doing such a good job. He's finding it so hard to get back into that side, and against PSG, he's played as a right back and definitely not in a comfortable position for him. So yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate for him, but I do hope he can get back into form. I hope he can, you know, be you know, I hope he can, you know, come back into form and hopefully, you know, still be at Manchester United, because I think he is a decent player. I think he does have promising qualities about him. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with him. Raven says, I think we'll beat Arsenal 4-1. Yeah, I mean, you know what? That would be a dreamland scoreline. But for me, as I said, I don't think it's going to be that easy. I think Arsenal are going to come with their A game. I think, you know, they're going to be really, really hungry to beat us. So I don't think it's going to be that easy. But I really wish it's 4-1. I hope it's 4-1, Rasmus. I hope your prediction is spot on. But I'm not sure, mate. I'm really not sure if that's going to play out as you say it is. But as I said, I hope it will. I really do hope it does. But I will be getting on to my score prediction and things like that a bit later on. But right now, I am going to give you my lineup prediction for the game. So please do let me know your lineup predictions in the live chat right now as well. Dazza says, I taking any calls tonight. Also, I think 3-1. Yeah, again, Dazza, I will be taking calls, my friend. I will be taking calls. So make sure you stay tuned. But before I take any calls, I will be giving you my predicted lineup for the game. So make sure you do leave your predicted lineups in the live chat. And also leave a like if you aren't already. Can we get to 10 likes for the stream? That'd be absolutely fantastic if we could. Really does go a long way. So, my predicted lineup for the game, I'm going to go with David De Gea in goal. Back four stays the same from PSG. So I'm going to go Ashley Young. I'm going to go with Lindelof and Smalling, and then Luke Shaw at left back. I think that's a really solid back line. And I think we're going to go back to the 4-3-3 formation. I think we're going to see Pogba, Matic, and I think we're going to see Pogba, Matic, and we're going to see McTominay in the midfield. I was thinking potentially Pereira. I wasn't sure about putting Fred in there just because Fred is a very similar player to someone like Paul Pogba. So I think potentially to give balance, I think someone like McTominay or Pereira. For me, I think he's going to go with more Scott McTominay, but who knows. And then up front, I'm going to go with Rashford, Lukaku and Martial. I'm not sure how particularly they're going to fit in with each other, but I think definitely that is where the big decisions need to be made. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Lennox says Bailly is a good backup for the next season. Nevertheless, we could potentially sign Koulibaly in the summer. I think Bailly definitely is a good left back, a good backup for a centre back. There's no doubt about that. Koulibaly definitely for me is on another level to Eric Bailly. I think he would be brilliant, but unfortunately for me, I think Koulibaly, will cost us at least £100 million from Napoli, or at least that is the reported fee. And is he worth it? Is he really worth that much money? I'm not too sure. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. We will see what happens with that. But ultimately, who knows? I don't think we are going to sign Koulibaly. I think, unfortunately, it's going to be too much money, to go 100 million. And, trust me, I would love to see Koulibaly, come to Manchester United. But somehow I don't see it. I don't see it. But there you go. There you go. But yeah, no, sorry. Just checking something. But yeah, I mean, look. Let's look at the live chat. Radon said De Gea, Dalot, Lindelof, Small. Oh, Dalot, of course. You know what? I'm so naive, actually, with my predicted lineup. I completely forgot about how well Dalot played. But yeah, we'll see. De Gea, Dalot, Lindelof, Smalling, Shaw, Matic, Pereira, Pogba, Lukaku, Rashford, Martial. This is the lineup I want to see. And I think actually, you put Dalot in, and I think actually Dalot is a really good shout. I think he had a brilliant game when he came on against PSG. So yeah, let's hope he can have the same impact against Arsenal. Welcome to Rashford. Thanks for joining, mate. Really appreciate it. He says, will we level with points if we win tomorrow? Yep. That's why it's such a big opportunity for us to win tomorrow. If we do win tomorrow, it'd be a massive 3 points. As you said, we'd go level on points with Spurs, and it'd just be huge in terms of the title race. So I hope we can do that. I really do hope we can do that. Lennox says, spot on with the lineup, I play Dalot. I think maybe you're right, guys. I honestly think you could be right with Dalot. I think actually Dalot has been so good for us, especially against PSG. He was fantastic. He was fantastic. So yeah, do apologise. But yeah, I'm hoping to see that. TTX says Young is terrible. He's only in the team for captaincy and leadership. Otherwise, I'll choose Dalot any day of the week. Yeah, I think you guys could be right with Dalot. I mean, obviously, if I was going to predict the starting 11, I'd probably put Ashley Young in there. But I think Dalot probably would be the preferable choice, just because he was so good when he came against PSG, and he has been very good for us. And I think at such a young age, he is showing so many good signs of promise. So yeah, really happy with what he's doing. So yeah, I'd be happy to see Dalot. I'd be happy to see him. I think Young will get in there just because he's the captain, but Dalot has been brilliant nonetheless. Rasa said the two heirs who hurt De Gea against Southampton are the ones who scored against Spurs today. Yeah, I know, yeah. The two players, obviously, who scored for Southampton today also scored against Spurs. And you know what? I'm happy that they're being consistent. I'm happy they're not just turning up against United, and they're actually turning up against other big sides. So I'm really happy about that. And Ravner says, I think Dalot belongs in our starting 11, either as a right back or a right wing back. Actually, I think he could do a very good job at right wing back as well. So yeah, who knows? But, yeah, I'm going to open up the phone lines now. So, Daryl, if you do want to call in, please do feel free to do so. Hopefully it doesn't lag out the stream or anything like that. But, yeah, Daryl, if you want to call in, mate, please do feel free to call in. And, we'll get you on the live stream. Don't worry about that. And, of course, if you guys want to call in, my Skype name is in the description down below as well. So, make sure you check it out. But yeah, you know what, the starting 11, especially with all the players coming back, with Pogba, Matic and Martial coming back as well, and the way those guys played in Paris on Wednesday night is a massive, selection headache for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer ahead of this one. And I'm going to be very interested to see how he lines up. And we've got so many good options to put in there, and that's why I'm so positive going into this game, because we're playing so well. Everyone's playing as a team, playing as a unit, and even though Arsenal are definitely going to bring their A game for this one, I'm confident we can still get the 3 points. Not overconfident, but confident. That's all I'm going to say. As I say, if you want to call in, please feel free to do so. And I will get you on and we can talk about it. And also, I am going to give you my score prediction at the end of the stream. So make sure you tune in for that. But as we go through, make sure you keep leaving your thoughts on the game. Any questions, anything like that you want to ask me or anyone else in the stream, please do let us know in the live chat. That would be absolutely brilliant. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it. And you know what? This is what the Premier League's all about, isn't it? The Premier League's all about these big ties. And, you know, I think actually this Arsenal game, you know, between us and Arsenal is probably one of the most hotly contested games in recent history. Because obviously we're both going for 4th place. We're so close in the table. We're only separated by a couple of points. So, you know what? This game is going to be absolutely massive for both teams. So, it's going to have a lot of needle in it. There's going to be a lot of passion. And I'm really looking forward to watching it. Obviously, guys, it is in the afternoon tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, I should say. Dazza is calling in, so I will answer the call of Dazza. If it does load. I'm trying to click on the... I think we've answered it.
Yeah.
Hello, Dazza. How are you doing?
Well, in a way happy and in a way a bit annoyed, but that's mainly down to the football.
All right, what happened to the football? The Middlesbrough lose?
Yes.
Oh, Daryl.
First time we've lost at home to Brentford since 1936.
Wow. Records are there to be broken, I guess. Records are there to be broken. But
yeah.
I'm glad that you've joined me, Daryl. Glad you've joined me on the stream tonight. As I said, before we get into this little chat with Daryl, make sure to check out his channel in the description down below if you haven't already. And also, Rasmus quickly says, do you think Liverpool has bottled it? I think there's a lot more games to go in the season. I still think, even though they're 4 points behind, they've got a game tomorrow. I think they'll probably beat Burnley. But if they don't beat Burnley, then yes, I think they have bottled it. And Rashford says, De Gea, Smalling, Lindelof, Young and Shaw, Pogba, Matic, Fred, Delo, Lukaku and Rashford, Martial second half. Maybe you could be right. Martial could come off from the bench. But you know what? These are the sort of questions that I'm going to ask Daryl right now. So, thanks for coming on, Daryl, as I said. The first thing I want to ask you is, how do you see this game going tomorrow? Do you think we're going to get our second win against Arsenal away from home in 2019? Or do you think it's going to be a very close game?
I think both, to be honest with you. I do think it's going to be quite tight. I do think it's going to be tense. I don't know why I say it's probably going to be tight. I don't think it will be. It'll be tough, obviously. So Arsenal have a good side. Or they are, as people call them, the banter club. But as we say, you know, I mean, we won 3-1 against them last time, and that was in the cup. I don't see why we can't win 3-1 there again. Because obviously we've got the momentum at the minute. We showed character, getting up to beat PSG in the Champions League, which was absolutely unbelievable. Monumental achievement, that. So we've got the capability of beating teams like them. If we can beat PSG, I think we can beat any team. And I might be sounding a bit deluded by saying that, but I think we can beat any team if we beat PSG. And we did. Of course, if we're against Barcelona, then there's no chance. But, you know, I thought everyone said there'd be no chance against PSG. Well, they were wrong. But with Arsenal, they're not brilliant at home, it's fair to say. They're coming into this game on the back of a 3-1 defeat at Rennes, which I was laughing my head off at. But their first goal was great. I do think their defence is quite shaky at times. Obviously, Socrates will probably be playing, but the defence is pretty poor, regardless. I mean, they've conceded a couple of goals. I'd say this is one of the top 4 deciders. Obviously, we've got Chelsea at home. That'll be one of the other ones. I do think it'll be tough, but at the same time, I think we can win 3-1 again, to be honest with you. I just don't think Sanchez is going to play, because I think Sanchez is out for 6 weeks. So I think he's out for a while, so we probably won't see him. I felt in the Southampton game, I felt Diogo Dalot made a difference when he came on at half-time. He definitely livened the game up, and it just sparked United into life. especially obviously we were 1-0 down. But I think, I think we can win this, definitely. We can definitely win this one. And I don't see why we shouldn't. Seriously don't. And it is definitely one of the biggest games of the season, this, by far, because this could be one of the games that actually decides who finishes in top 4. If we lose, then it just blows our chances a bit. And if we win, then it keeps us in the right step. So I do think it'd be tough, but I think we can win this.
I think you're dead right, Darryl. I really do think you're dead right. I think, obviously, I do admire your confidence saying we can win 3-1, and I think, there's no reason why we can't. I think, obviously, in the FA Cup, Arsenal didn't really turn up, to be honest. Yes, they did suffer 2 injuries to 2 of their centre-backs, and that really did hurt them, to be fair, but we did capitalise very, very well, and we played fantastically on the break, and I think we are going to have to do that once again if we are going to beat them. But I think it's going to be a close game, as you said, and I think... I think it'll be. I don't think we are going to win. For me, I feel like it's going to be very, very difficult for us to win 3-1 again. But as I said, I don't see why we can't win it. As you said, I don't see why we can't. And Arsenal are going to bring their A game, but the way we're playing, we've got the momentum, and why not? As you said, welcome to Exchange Going Plays. Thank you for joining as well. Really appreciate it. One question we've had in the live chat is from Rashford Jawara. Says, Darryl, what was going on in your head when Rashi was on the penalty spot in that night? Darryl, what was in your head? I know it was in my head.
Well, I wasn't actually watching the game. I was just listening to the commentary, and all I heard was a penalty, and I'm thinking, oh my God, just please score it. Tell you, everything was going mental. I'm thinking, oh God, he's going to miss it. No, is he going to miss it? He's going to score it. He has to score it. And I was tell you what, I was absolutely buzzing when we scored that. I'll admit it was a questionable penalty, but at the same time, you look at the replay, it's clearly hits his arm, so it's definitely a penalty. In the rules of football, if the ref hadn't given that, I think there definitely would have been lots of consequences for that referee, seriously. But I tell you what, it was the best European night in a long time for United. Forget the 1999 final against Bayern Munich, forget the 2008 final against Chelsea. That night was the best night in Manchester United's Champions League history, if I'm being truthfully honest. I'll be honest with you, it's probably not as good as winning it as United winning it in 1999. Obviously, I wasn't born then, but I think it's definitely one of the best European nights I've known for a while. To be honest with you, getting a 3 goals in Paris and creating Champions League history, can't beat it. But tell you what, I couldn't really describe what was going through my head. I was just so, I was so anxious. I'm like, oh, please God, this, God's sake, and then just bloody jumping all over the place that night.
Yeah, it was mental, and you know what? I think, if anything, that was our generation's '99 almost. That was, obviously everyone who had the fortune of watching Man United, at that time where obviously the treble happened, and that must have been absolutely amazing. I was born in 2001, so I kind of just missed that kind of, but of course. That is brilliant, and I think that will go down as probably one of our best Champions League nights. But definitely on Wednesday night, I think that was probably one of the proudest moments I've had as a Man United fan. Seeing the team, which, let's face it, had 10 injuries to first-team players. There's no Pogba, Matic, Herrera, Lingard. All of these players were missing. And they produced that performance and got over the line and turned over the odds. Ridiculous odds for us to win that game, and yeah, it was absolutely mental. So yeah, TCX says he cried that night, best European night in a long time. I totally agree, mate. Totally agree. And Rasha says, Rasha, you should be in bed, mate. Kieran says, Kieran and Daz, I know it seems funny, but if I told you what I was doing when he was about to take about to take the penalty, well, let us know, Rashford. What was going through your head when Rashford was about to take the penalty? Welcome to Man United Fans TV and welcome to Exchange Getting Plays. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. Please do leave a like if you haven't already. That'd be absolutely fantastic. But Daryl,
Jesse Lingard's on the line.
Jesse Lingard. No, you know what? It would be brilliant. It would be brilliant if we had Jesse Lingard on the line, but you know what? We don't. And speaking of bedtime, he probably should be in bed by now. But anyway, or he should be at least having a nice hearty meal. He's not on the line.
Say hello.
Hello, Jesse. Okay, that was super good. Right, okay, Daryl. Okay, obviously you talked about how you think the game's going to go. How you think? Right. Why are you? What? Right. Okay. There you go. But yeah. Obviously you've talked about how you think the game's going to go. What is your score prediction for the game? And also, while you're here as well, how do you think Solskjaer's going to set the team up for the game?
Yeah. Well, my prediction, as we all know, I think I said that already, 3-1. I think it'd be exactly the same as before. I think it'd be 3-1, same as last time. And I don't think Solskjaer's going to go defensive because he's not a defensive-minded manager. No, I do think he's going to play a bit of an interesting formation, I think, I'd say. I think he's going to play, this might sound a bit weird, but I think he's going to play 3-4-2-1. Either that, or he's going to go for the 3-4-1-2 or the 4-4-2 diamond, which he's used quite a bit. But I'd like to see a change in formation. So I'd like to see us try and play with 3 at the back. And don't think it would work, mind, and have possibly Ashley Young and... Not sure whether this works, as Ashley Young and Luke Shaw was left and right mid. Not sure whether that would actually work. Cause I have seen left wing backs playing in midfield before. So and I know they're left back and right back, but you know, make a change. But I don't think it would really work. But definitely make a change. I do think. I'd say the main one he's probably going to go for is obviously the 4-4-2 diamond because he's used that most of the time at the minute. And I think David De Gea in goal, obviously. Although, I'm not actually sure if he's going to play David De Gea because he played Romero last time. Although I suppose that was in the cup. So, forget that. David De Gea in goal, obviously. The back 4 is going to be probably the same one. Lindelof, Bailey, Shaw and Young. I think at half time bring in Diogo Dalot and take Ashley Young off because Dalot seems to he's one of those guys who gets criticised because he's not getting much game time, but at the same time you look at him, I don't think he's capable of starting games. I think he's more capable of coming off the bench because he creates an impact when he comes on. So I think he's one of those guys you can depend on as a super sub. He showed that against Southampton. I think the 4 in front in the diamond wise is Matic at CDM, the 2 centre mids Herrera and Pogba if they're both available, and I think the centre attacking mid Juan Mata because Sanchez I don't think is available, and the 2 up front I'm going to say Rashford. And the man in form with 6 goals in 3 games, Romelu Lukaku, who I think is going to score 2 of them.
There you go. I'll tell you what, tactical mastermind Daryl Johnson. I mean, it's his. I mean, you know what? I think actually it's a very, very interesting formation. Obviously, you've got the centre attacking midfielder in there as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if Solskjaer, you know, looks to play something very, very similar to that with all the options that are available. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Lennox says Mata's out of the game, so that might change what. So yeah, that's. I mean, maybe I'm not sure who else you play there. Maybe Andres Pereira. Who knows?
Oops.
you could play Andres Pereira in there, maybe, or someone like that. You do a very, very similar job there.
I forgot Mata was out.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I think there's one guy I know who can play as a centre attacking mid. I'm just not sure if he's capable enough of doing it.
Who would that be?
I'm thinking Anthony Martial. I just don't know if he'd suit that role. If not, I'd say probably Andres Pereira, because I felt he did decent.
I think he did really well against PSG, yeah, and I think actually he could fit into that sort of role. I just want to say as well, welcome to the Tactical Show and the Watford Hornet. Thanks for joining, guys. Really appreciate it.
It's your home event team in Watford on the back of another video on today.
And there is Karen Butters Sport as well. He predicts 2-1 Arsenal. Get out. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. But yeah, no, yeah. I mean, look, I think Arsenal are going to cause us a few problems tomorrow, I've got to say. But let's hope they don't win 2-1. Let's hope United win 2-1 or even keep a clean sheet. That'd be brilliant. But yeah. Thanks for coming on, Daryl. Really appreciate it, as usual. And yeah, thanks for giving your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime, mate.
Thanks very much.
Wow, Daz.
Thanks for coming on, Daryl. Appreciate it, mate.
No problem. Catch you in a bit.
So that was Daryl. That was on there. And if you want to go check out Daryl's channel, as I said, if you haven't already, and if you haven't already, what you're missing out on, make sure. What was that sentence? What you are missing out? Make sure you check him out in the link in the description down below, as well as all the other channels if you haven't already checked them out. Brother Games says, Manx asses are twitching like Manx asses twitching. Manx asses twitching because the Gunners are the best. Well, there you go. That's a little chant there. They'll be singing on the terraces, I'm sure. By the way, guys, if you are new and have just joined, make sure you leave a like on the stream. That'd be absolutely brilliant. Let's try and get to 10 likes. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Rashford says, when Rashford was on the penalty spot, I hid myself in the window and covered myself with the curtains until it get to the score. Oh, I love that. I love that. I absolutely love that. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, I was kind of thinking, should I watch, shouldn't I watch? But you know what? The boy Rashford stuck it in with such ease and with such coolness and calmness. It was brilliant to watch. But guys, I am going to give my score prediction for the game. So if you are watching right now, let me know your score predictions for the game. Obviously, we've had Daryl who said 3-1 to Manchester United. I would love if that was the case. I don't think it's going to be as easy as that. For me, I'm going to go with 3-2 to Manchester United. I think Arsenal are going to come at us, but ultimately I think we are going to come from behind to win the game. And I think it's going to be 3-2 to Manchester United. I think it's going to be a very, very open game as well. So I think Lukaku's going to score 2. Rashford's going to score 1. No, sorry. I think Lukaku's going to score 1. I think Rashford's going to score 1, and I think Paul Pogba is going to score 1 as well. And I think we'll score an early goal. Arsenal will then peg us back to make it 1-1. Then I reckon then obviously I think it'll be 1-1. Then I think Rashford will score, and then I think Pogba will score to make it 3-1, and then I think Arsenal will score to make it 3-2. So that is my prediction for the game. Let me know your predictions in the live chat right now. Rashford goes with 2-0. Lennox goes with another 3-1. Agreeing with Dazza there. I'll tell you what, I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it if that happened as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, guys. It's a massive, massive game. These are the sort of games that fans live for, and I'm looking forward to it, honestly. I really, really am. But I am going to end the stream here, guys. I think that is the best way to end it. United go into this game, a massive opportunity for us to get level on points with Spurs in the top 4 race. Rasmus goes with 4-1. Love that from Rasmus. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys for the review tomorrow, hopefully with 3 points in the bag. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.